Syncopate my skin through your heart beating, 'cause I just wanna look good for you, good for you. Oh, I just wanna look good for you, good for you. Oh, let me show you how proud I am to be yours. Leave this dress a mess on the floor, still look good for you, good for you. Oh, oh.
Hi guys, today I'll be doing a get ready with me video and we're going to be starting off with the makeup. So I'm using MAC Painterly Paint Pot Primer to prime the lids. I usually just like to do about 2 swipes of my finger in the paint pot and then I go ahead and smooth this all over my entire eyelid. Now we're going in with an eyeliner to first create a nice base, gel-like base for the eyeliner itself, so this can be completely, well, not too messy obviously, you don't want this like all over the place, but try and get as close to the lash line as possible like I did here. And I am just slightly holding my eye taut so I can get a little bit of a wing effect going. I didn't go all the way to the inner corner though. And here I'm using a clean angle brush to blend this out slightly just to get it exactly how I wanted it shape-wise. And then I'm going over with the same brush in this black eyeshadow and going over the very ends just to perfect the shape even more, again, make it look like a cat eye. The lashes I'm using today are by the brand Creme. I got them from a subscriber and I opened them in my latest mealtime video. So thank you so much for these. I really like them a lot. They're more on the natural side and I just cut them to make sure that they fit my particular eye shape, and I used tweezers and Esqido glue. For my face, I'm using Master Prime. This is by Maybelline. It's a primer that actually blurs your skin and illuminates it at the same time. So you can see the difference between my 2 sides of the face. One is basically glowing and the other one is not. I would highly recommend this for dry skin. L'Oreal True Match Lumi Foundation in True Beige. I'm using a round top foundation brush to just apply this to one half of my face, one pump for one half of my face, and I'm using patting motions. The more patting motions you use, the better for dry and sensitive skin, because it's not going to cause, you know, any redness or scratching or dryness to occur. And then when I do over that to make sure that the foundation is all blended in, is I use my beauty blender, my damp beauty blender, and I use patting motions again, and this will just help to blend everything in nicely so you don't have to use like buffing motions. Now of course this is not really something you would have to do if you have oily skin or normal skin. It's just a little thing I'm doing today because my skin is just going crazy lately. It's not happy with me. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer by NARS. I'm doing 3 dots, well, more like stripes across my face, kind of like as if an animal scratched you or clawed you, made claw marks on your eyes. And then I'm blending this in with my damp beauty blender. I like to use the pointy end of it so that I can get really close into the inner corner of the eye and completely diminish the look of any dark under eye circles. I'm going in with Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. I've used this quite a lot in makeup tutorials on this channel because it's really, really good. If you look at reviews on Sephora, everybody loves this stuff. So I'm just patting this right under the eyes to set that concealer in place. Now I'm going into the Anastasia Contour Kit, another one of my favorites, and I'm using an angled kabuki brush from Sedona Lace to apply this in an upward like half moon shape. And don't forget to apply this on your forehead as well, just to even everything out and make the face look nice and bronzed. I'm using Benefit Blush in Dallas today, and believe it or not, out of all the blushes that I own, I really truly like this one the most. I love that it has a nice like subtle glow to it, but it has a really beautiful like redness and it just totally warms up the face. And for like a nice glow on the top of the cheekbones, I'm using MAC Soft and Gentle with a fan brush, and I also applied this down the nose and through the brow bone. This is a lip liner from Maybelline in rose/pink. Or no, pink/rose. I'm applying this all over my entire lip. I'm lining it and completely filling it in. Mainly because I wanted this to be more of like a strikingly pigmented glossy lip. By putting that underneath, it really helps this lip lover from Lancome to be more bold. Otherwise, it definitely has a lot of pigmentation to it for sure, but this just takes it to a whole nother level, which is why I like to use these two together. So this is in number 355. It's called Berry Pink. I'm using a concealer and just a really small brush to carve out the shape of the lips and a spray to set all the makeup in place. This is actually from Urban Decay. It's totally not a setting spray, but my face is just so dry I decided to use it. I ran out of my setting spray. But just go ahead and set it so that your makeup stays in place throughout the day, whatever you happen to be wearing this for, if you decide to recreate this look. So the hair is, I would actually have to say, pretty complicated. There's a lot of sectioning going on, and there's no extensions here, so you really have to find a way, if you have thin hair like me, to get some volume and texture into it. So I'm using a dry shampoo here, and then I'm really massaging this into the roots. For the braid, you want to grab 3 sections close to the crown of your head on one side. I'm going to call the piece that's closest to my face 1, and then 2, and then 3 is the furthest one. So you want to bring 3 over the middle, and then 1 over the middle, or over 2. Add some hair to section 2 that has now become 1. Bring number 3 over 2, and then number 1 over 2. Grab another piece of hair and add it to number 1. Bring number 3 over 2 and number 1 over 2. And you just keep repeating this over and over, and you want to absolutely make sure to leave hair out that is framing that side of the face, basically enough to cover your ear, because you're going to be pulling that back as another section of the updo. So just keep grabbing hair that's really close to the braid, just tiny little bits of hair at a time, nothing too big or chunky, because, especially if you have thin hair, you really want to make sure that you have more hair to work with for the rest of this updo. Also, I know this is looking super complicated because I really am not the best at braiding. I try my hardest. I'm sure there's a much easier way to do this. I'm totally making it harder for myself, but once you get the hang of it, I promise you it'll become easier. I actually practiced this a few times before I ended up doing this hairstyle in that last video that I wore it in, and this is actually my second time recording this video because I could not figure it out again. I'm like, how did I do this? But I promise it gets easier the more you practice. So once you get around the ear level, you want to just go ahead and braid it the rest of the way down in a regular braid. Keep doing the third piece over the second, first piece over the second, and repeating till you get to the ends, and tie it with an elastic. Now you want to tease the crown section of your hair to get volume there. Otherwise, you're not going to have that really nice bubble shape that is around the head. And that's really what, in my opinion, makes an updo look like an updo, is when you have a really nice teased crown that is smoothed down. So to tease, I'm using a boar bristle paddle brush because it actually helps to keep thin hair less frizzy and more smooth. So I really like to tease with that. Now I'm taking the bangs and the crown section of hair, so basically half of my hair over, and I'm picking up some hair as well on the other side, about the same amount, leaving the braid out. And what this is going to do is create your first ponytail, and you want to tie an elastic around this right near your ear. So I guess you can decide which side you want to do this updo on, but I really like it when everything is all on one side, just personally for me, but you can go ahead and do this on the other side if you like. I'm using the back of my tweezers to help pull out the hair to make it more volumized. You can use a pick or the end of a teasing brush if you have one. I just didn't have one right now for this video. So this works too if you have tweezers, multi-purpose. So what I do is I start from the bottom, pull up, and then work my way to the top, pull up. Keep working my way upward, till you get to the very top of the head. I just find it creates a more even, all over volumized look when I do that. Pinning my bangs to the back so that they don't fall forward. So now we are making a second ponytail underneath the first one, basically with all the rest of the hair. Make sure they're all completely separate from one another. So now you have 4 totally different sections going on. I know this is getting confusing. You guys can do it. Keep up with me. Work with that first ponytail. Start twisting the hair and then pick a tiny little piece of hair and then pull the rest upward. Twirl it around and take a bobby pin and pin it in place. Now you can't really see how I'm pinning this, but I'm basically pinning as close as possible to my actual hair. That way you cannot see the bobby pin and it holds the hair in place. So pick another section from that first ponytail, twist it. It doesn't matter if you twist it toward or away from the face, just twist it. Pick out a little piece of hair and then bring the rest up with your 2 fingers. Pin it in place and just keep on going with those sections. I think this is the very last one for that first ponytail. And the reason why I wanted to do 2 separate ponytails is so that way you have a top part of the updo that goes a little higher and then this bottom part of the updo that goes a little lower, because if you make it all one ponytail that's low under the ear, you're gonna have a big bun that's just under the ear and it's not really gonna have good shape to it, you know. So this way you can really section out each individual piece, especially if you have thin hair, so the bun will end up looking bigger and cover more of your head area. So again, you know, just pin these in place totally randomly. I mean, there's not really any rhyme or reason to this. I'm just simply pinning wherever I find that there's an emptiness, like an empty spot to the bun. It's basically teasing your hair, so it doesn't ruin your hair or anything, but when you take this bun out, if you just lightly brush it, your hair is perfectly fine, so it doesn't like ruin your hair or anything. So that's it for the bun shape there. And now what you want to do is pin this braid back, but keep it above the updo. You know, you don't want to cover all that work that you just did. So go ahead and pin that in place so that you can't see the pin or the end of the braid. And then that last little section of hair that you've got that's framing the face, go ahead and twist that back underneath the braid, but still you don't want to cover too much of that updo. This may take some adjusting, and pin that in place as well. So that's it for the entire updo, guys. You can rewatch this over again just to make sure you got everything if you want to try this yourself. Definitely complicated, like I said, but it looks so cute when you're done. And I really think this will be such a great like bridesmaid look, or even for a wedding or a dance or any type of special occasion you guys are going to. So hopefully you like this Get Ready With Me. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Good for you, I just wanna look good for you.